Welcome to English Podcast Station. Are you learning English? This video is perfect for you. We will tell an amazing story. The story is about Helen Keller. Her story is inspiring. You will learn new words. You will also practice listening. The sentences are simple. We speak clearly. Enjoy the story of Helen Keller. Chapter 1: A Happy Baby. Once upon a time, in a small town. The town was in Alabama, USA. It was June 27, 1880. A baby girl was born. Her parents were Arthur and Kate Keller. They were very happy. They named their baby Helen. Helen was a healthy baby. She had bright eyes. She could hear the birds sing. She could see the sunlight. Helen loved to explore. She touched everything around her. Her family was full of love. They enjoyed spending time with Helen. She was a curious child. Helen started to talk. She said, "Water." She said, "Mama." She said, "Papa." Her family was thrilled. They thought she was very smart. Helen was growing fast. She was learning new things every day. Her life was full of joy. Chapter 2: A Sudden Illness. When Helen was 19 months old, something happened. She got very sick. The doctors did not know what was wrong. Helen had a high fever. She was very weak. Her parents were worried. They stayed by her side. They hoped she would get better. The fever went away after some time. Helen was alive. Her parents were relieved. But something was different. Helen did not react to sounds anymore. She did not turn her head when someone spoke. Her eyes did not follow light. Slowly, her parents understood. The illness had taken away her sight. It had also taken away her hearing. Helen could no longer see the world. She could no longer hear the voices she loved. The world became silent and dark for her. Chapter 3: A World of Silence and Darkness. Helen was now in a world of silence. It was also a world of darkness. She could not understand what was happening. She could not communicate with her family. She felt lost and alone. Helen started to get frustrated. She would pull her mother's dress. She would cry when she wanted something. Her family tried to understand her. But it was very difficult. Helen's world was very different now. She had tantrums. She would break things. Her family did not know how to help her. They loved her very much. They felt sad that she was unhappy. They wished they could bring back her sight and hearing. Chapter 4: Hope Arrives. Years passed. Helen grew older. She was still living in her silent, dark world. Her family was still looking for help. They had heard about a special school. The Perkins Institution for the Blind. It was in Boston. Helen's mother, Kate, wrote a letter to the school. She told them about Helen. She asked if they could help her daughter. The head of the school read the letter. He was very moved. He knew someone who could help. Her name was Annie Sullivan. Annie was a teacher. She had also been blind as a child. She had regained some of her sight after surgery. Annie understood what it was like to live in a dark world. The school asked Annie to go and teach Helen. Hope had arrived for Helen. Chapter 5: Meeting Miss Sullivan. In March 1887, Annie Sullivan came to Helen's home. Helen was almost 7 years old. She was a wild and angry child. She did not understand rules. She did not know how to behave. When Annie arrived, Helen did not like her at first. Helen tried to hit her. She tried to push her away. But Annie was patient. She was also very determined. She knew she could help Helen. Annie started to teach Helen immediately. She used her fingers to spell words into Helen's hand. The first word she spelled was doll. Helen did not understand. She just felt Anne's fingers moving. Chapter 6: The Breakthrough. Annie continued to work with Helen. She spelled many words into her hand. Cake, mother, father. Helen did not understand that these words had meaning. She just copied the movements of Anne's fingers. One day, Annie took Helen to the water pump outside. Annie put Helen's hand under the flowing water. Then, she spelled water into Helen's other hand. Suddenly, something clicked in Helen's mind. She understood. The cool liquid flowing over her hand was water. And the letters Annie was spelling meant water. It was a breakthrough moment. Helen understood that words had meaning. This was the beginning of her learning journey. Chapter 7, Learning to Communicate. After the breakthrough with water, Helen was eager to learn more. Annie spelled many words into her hand that day. Helen learned teacher. She learned her own name. She learned mother and father. Helen was so excited. She touched everything around her. She asked Annie to spell the names of these things. Annie patiently spelled each word into Helen's hand. Helen's world was opening up. She could finally communicate with others. Learning to communicate changed Helen's life. She was no longer alone in her silent, dark world. She could ask questions. She could share her thoughts and feelings. She was finally connected to the world around her. Chapter 8, A Thirst for Knowledge. Helen was a very bright girl. Once she understood that words had meaning, she wanted to learn everything. She learned the alphabet. She learned to read using raised letters. Annie made the letters with cardboard. Helen would feel the shapes of the letters with her fingers. She also learned to write. Annie would guide Helen's hand to form letters. It was difficult at first. But Helen was determined. She practiced every day. Soon, she could read and write simple sentences. Helen loved to learn. She asked many questions. She wanted to know about everything. Annie patiently answered all her questions. She told Helen stories about the world. Helen's mind was like a sponge. It soaked up all the information. Chapter 9, Going to School. Helen's parents saw how much she was learning. They wanted her to have the best education possible. So, they decided to send her to school. First, she went to the Perkins Institution for the Blind. This was the same school that had sent Annie Sullivan to her. At Perkins, Helen learned alongside other blind children. She learned to read Braille. Braille is a system of raised dots that blind people can read with their fingers. Helen learned quickly. She loved reading books in Braille. She also learned to speak. This was very difficult for her because she could not hear. Annie would put Helen's hand on her throat and mouth. Helen would feel the vibrations when Annie spoke. She tried to copy these vibrations. It took many years of hard work. But eventually, Helen learned to speak. Chapter 10, Higher Education. Helen was a very ambitious person. She did not want to stop learning. After graduating from Perkins, she went to Radcliffe College. Radcliffe was a famous women's college. It was part of Harvard University. Going to college was a big challenge for Helen. She had to work much harder than other students. All her textbooks had to be translated into Braille. Annie Sullivan went to all her classes with her. Annie would spell the lectures into Helen's hand. Despite these challenges, Helen did very well in college. She studied many subjects. She loved literature and history. In 1904, she graduated from Radcliffe College. She was the first deaf-blind person to earn a Bachelor of Arts degree. This was a remarkable achievement. Chapter 11, Becoming an Author and Activist. After college, Helen wanted to use her experiences to help others. She became a writer. She wrote her autobiography. It was called The Story of My Life. The book told about her childhood. It told about her relationship with Annie Sullivan. It was a very inspiring book. It was translated into many languages. People all over the world read her story. Helen also became an activist. She worked to improve the lives of people with disabilities. She traveled around the world. She gave speeches. She met with leaders. She raised awareness about the challenges faced by deaf-blind people. She also fought for the rights of women. She believed that women should have equal opportunities. She was a strong advocate for peace. She spoke out against war and violence. Helen used her voice to make the world a better place. Chapter 12, A Lasting Legacy. Helen Keller's life was an inspiration to millions of people. She showed the world that disabilities do not have to limit a person's potential. She overcame incredible challenges. She achieved great things. She taught us the importance of perseverance. She showed us the power of education. She reminded us that everyone deserves to be treated with dignity and respect. Helen Keller passed away on June 1, 1968. She was 87 years old. But her legacy lives on. Her story continues to inspire people all over the world. She is remembered as a hero. She is a symbol of hope and determination. Her work helped to change laws and improve services for people with disabilities. Schools and organizations were created in her name. The Helen Keller International Organization still works today. It helps people who are blind and have other disabilities. Helen Keller's life was a testament to the human spirit. She proved that with courage, determination, and the help of others, anything is possible. Her story will continue to be told for generations to come. She truly changed history. Thank you for listening to the story of Helen Keller. We hope you found it inspiring. Keep practicing your English. Remember, learning takes time and effort. Just like Helen, never give up on your goals. Visit English Podcast Station again for more interesting stories and lessons. Goodbye for now.